Hi, math friends. Today we're looking at our study guide for circles, specifically circumference and area, and all the parts of the circles that we've studied. So let's look at the parts here. We want to definitely identify center. So center of the circle here is B. We want to identify radius or radii. So we'll say radius, and we'll point out the ones that are radius. Line segment AB, line segment CB, and remember you can reverse these. You can say BA or BC, also DB and EB. And we want to say line segment, so we're going to carefully draw a line over each of these as well. All right. Last part we want to identify here is the diameter. So the only diameter that's actually on here is EC. Remember, you could have also written CE, and that's correct as well. All right, number 2, circle H has a diameter of 100 meters. I really suggest that when you do this, you go ahead and draw the diameter on there. That's really going to help us understand this better, right? So the diameter is 100. What's the radius? So radius would be half of that, right? So I would say 50 meters. All right. If you draw him here, yeah, that counts as showing work too, because that's something that we've studied, and it's the definition of that. Circle N is a radius of 30 feet. What is the circumference? So we know circumference is pi times diameter. We're going to use 3.14 for pi, right? And times the diameter, well, we know that the radius is 30. So if I did diameter, that would go double, right? It'd go all the way through. So that would be 60 for the diameter. All right, so let's do the 60 here. Use the drawings here too to help you. So this is showing your work. So on your calculator, go ahead and do 3.14 times 60. And we're going to round to the nearest hundredth if we need to. For this one, we don't. This ends at 188 and 4/10. And since it's the circumference, we're going to measure it in feet. And we know it's feet because of the feet marker here. There's our final answer. We'll circle it and be proud of ourselves. All right, circle X has a radius of 8 millimeters. So radius is 8. What's the area? So area is, remember, pi r squared. So here we're going to show work. Area, capital A, equals 3.14 times radius times radius. So I'm going to do 3.14 times 8 times 8. So remember, this counts for showing work. Type that in on your calculator, and we should get 296 hundredths, or 200.96. And that's millimeters squared. All right, next one we have the circumference. Oh, they give us the circumference here. A little tricky. We got to work backwards now, guys. So here's the circumference. 1017 and 36 hundredths. What is its radius? So if I think of the circumference equation, right? Pi times diameter. I'm going to replace circumference with what I got, 1017 and 36 hundredths equals pi, so 3.14 times diameter. So we need to treat this like we would with any equation, right? Let's look for inverses. Divide by 3.14 because that's the coefficient of d. So type that in on your calculator as you're going along. And we're going to end up with the diameter is 324. Really important that we write this letter here, d, because the question is actually asking for radius. So how do we get to radius? Divide by 2. I'm going to have my radius be 162. And what are the units? Kilometers. So I can put km for kilometers. All right, next one, you are striping a soccer pitch with chalk. The center circle has a radius of 9.15 meters. So I don't know about you, but I need to see this. The center circle has a radius of 9.15 meters. So I'm thinking of a soccer field. This is the very center, like where they do the kickoff from. So this has a radius of 9.15 meters. All right. How much chalk will you need to complete the outside of the circle? So think of a soccer field. You chalk only the outside. You're not filling in the inside. So this is circumference. So I want to know the circumference here. I'm going to do pi times diameter. Well, we don't have the diameter. We have the radius. So we'll have to multiply that by 2. So if I multiply it by 2, I get 18.3 for the diameter. So I'm going to do 18.3 here. And then go ahead and multiply by pi. And I'm getting 57.462. All right, and the directions for the entire study guide here are rounding. We're rounding to the nearest hundredth. So look at the 6 in the hundredth place. This 2 is going to keep that at 6. We're going to write our final answer up here. 57.46 meters. So that's how much chalk we'll end up using. We'll go around the entire circle. All right, very last one is an area. So here's a gym floor. And we're going to paint the parts of the circle. There's a square in it, but you do not need to paint the square. All right, so we got 2 things going on here, right? We got a circle and we got a square. All right, if it helps to draw them separately, go ahead and draw them separately. All right, the radius of the circle is 10 feet. The square has a side length of 12. All right, so we have enough information here, right? We need to find area because we're painting inside of it. So area of the circle, pi times radius times radius. So pi times 10 times 10. And we go ahead and multiply that out. We get 314. So that's for the circle. And then we also need to know the square. So remember, square means all sides are the same. Length times width, so it's 12 times 12. So the area of the square is going to be 144 after we multiply that. All right, now look back at our picture, right? The circle is bigger than the square. So it makes sense that our area of the circle is bigger than the area of the square. So at the end, let's go ahead and subtract because we don't need to paint the square. So subtract that out of there. Remember, this is all showing work for this too. So we're going to subtract that and end up with 170. And let's check what this is. This is feet. So this is feet squared. Now, real life application too, that's going to help you know like how much materials you need, how much paint you need to do this job. All right. So good luck on that. Look through this, do it again by yourself, do similar problems, whatever you need to do to study well for this, all right? You can do it.